Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me. And today's project is this one, and this is a box where I've hand stamped and hand coloured it myself. It's got a little slide on lid that slides up and down, and I love it and I'm really excited by it. I saw something on Pinterest. Now, it wasn't actually a craft project, it was something completely different, and I loved the idea of the flowers on the cream background. So I thought, well, I'll make a box with it. Finished dimensions, 7 inches tall, which is 18 centimetres tall, and it's 2 inches that way and that way, which is 5 centimetres. So it's a great size box, tall, lovely, lush. I'm going to do a very slightly different colourway, but I am working on the very vanilla. So my piece of cardstock measures 9 inches by 8 1/4 inches, or 21 by 23 centimetres. We're going to do just one score line first, and then we're going to come back and do the stamping, and then we'll come back to the rest of the score lines. So on your long side, the 9 inch 23 centimetre side, score simply at 2 inches, which is 5 centimetres. Pop your scoring tool away and we'll come back to that for the rest of the scoring, because although there's a tiny little bit of stamping gone underneath, that's fine. I wanted to make sure all of the majority of the stamping was above the bottom of the box, but also so that it flowed round the side of the box beautifully, which it wouldn't have done if I'd not put the score lines, if I'd put the score lines in first. Okay, so touches of texture is the stamp set I'm working with. Beautiful. This is one stamp set, but there are so many parts to it. It comes in 2 boxes. Bargain. So I'm working with the little speckledy bits there, this fuzzy flower, and then this bigger one here. So I'm going to pull this one out first, and I'm using it on, what block have I got? This is an I block. This is one of those really good versatile blocks. I do have the whole set of blocks. It's slightly too big for a D, which is another, I can't really, well, I could probably at a push get it on there, but I like it on this one. So, crumb cake ink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it, I'm just working at an angle because that's what I'm like. I'm keeping the majority of it above this score line where I can, but I am coming off ever so slightly if necessary, because I don't want it to be too symmetrical. Because it's the randomness is what I'm after. Okay, so we can put that away. I've got my Stampin' scrub over to one side. If you haven't seen a Stampin' scrub, let me quickly show you. Love this thing. Lives like that, apart from on my desk. It's got these little rubber feet, so it stays open, and there's little droplets there and a sunshine there. So this is the side you wet. So you wet your, I actually wet this scrub, clean, job done. So I've got that off to one side. Those of you who know me well know that I don't put it down, I put it away. So I'm going to put this away and bring out this one, and this is the one I'm going with. And I'm using, oh, what colour am I putting on this one? I used, would you believe it, that's Cajun Craze in there. This is Rose Red and Cajun Craze. I'm actually going to put the Rose Red as the speckledy bit this time. And this is now fitting on this block, so that's a D block. But I'm going to stamp it off a couple of times because I don't want it too dark. Third time, I think. So once, twice in the background. There we go. Love it. Okay, we'll clean that one up as well. Finally, I'm then going to take this tiny little one, which I used over here in the same rose red that I put everywhere else, but the colour I'm going with this time, Perfect Plum. So I'm going to have some little scatters of Perfect Plum flowers. Let me just stamp that a couple of times. Yeah, I want that paler as well. I'm not putting them anywhere in particular. I'll have to make that the back of the box, won't I? Just where I fancy, really. Okay. wrong box. Okay, so let's move this lot out of the way, and I'm going to get rid of this sheet of grid paper as well. And, oh, did I just shove that at the camera lens? Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to now work with my blender pens to get these colours. And that's these, and you get a couple in a pack, and they have got, well, I don't know what they've got in it, magic fluid. And I'm squidging my ink pad because I'm turning the lid into a palette, and I'm just going to pick up colour. So all it does is it picks up colour, but the more you use it, the more it fades, which is brilliant. So that's perfect for what I want, and I'm just going to go fairly rapidly. I'm not worrying if it's fading. I'm not worrying if I'm inside, outside, wherever on the lines. This is hand done. So it's fading up. There's some buds there. Just pick up another bit of colour. We'll do some more. And it's quite nice, quite quick. Should I get a bit closer? Let me put that on autofocus and zoom you in a bit and you can see what I'm doing. So I'm using these more like pens than I am using them as blender pens, but what I wanted was the variety of colour. So I could have used my Stampin markers, but I wanted the darker, well, in the original one, the darker pinks, the lighter pinks, and the blender pens does that for me. Blender pens does that. Blender pens do that. Blender pens are marvellous because they give you this wonderful artistic look to your stuff without having to be too arty. And I've said it before, Stampin' Up makes me look good because I'm no artist at all. Not by any stretch of the imagination. But this is, to be fair, I haven't really picked up on the whole colouring in for adults thing. It's something it's a trend that has sailed past my radar. Having said that, I found this quite good fun. So maybe I need to pick up the colouring book trend. But yeah, I had fun, and it's you know me, I'm a simplistic crafter. I make simple projects that are easy to make, that anybody can do. So something that takes more time than normal is not something that I will often leap on board with doing, but I have to say this is worth it, and it's probably going to be a longer video than normal, but I'm hoping that'll be worth it. So, okay. So I'm scribbling now, and that's cleaned up my blender pen. So I'm now going to come in with wild wasabi so I can just quickly do these petals. So, yep, fully clean. And again, I'm not worrying whether I'm inside the lines, outside the lines, whether it's dark, light, pale, whatever. Do watch on this one that there are little bits underneath the buds. So add there as well. But it's lovely. Isn't the stamp set gorgeous though? When I was on the incentive trip, I was actually gifted a wooden block version of it, but I'm not a wood block girl. So I set a challenge to my team and gave that away, and then I bought my own. But I was very fortunate that when we were doing our make and takes, Shelley Gardner, so the co-founder of Stampin' Up, came into the room, and she came over and chatted to us, and she was saying that this is her favourite stamp set. And I can see why. And it's lovely, and it meets my speckledy grungy needs with a little bit of floral fun. So, nearly there. Just getting their last few. I want to do a quick thank you to everybody who's jumped on board with Patreon as well. I posted up a video a couple of weeks back, 3 or 4 weeks ago now, in June, and explained a little bit about what Patreon was, and I'm absolutely delighted. We've got lots and lots and lots of people who've jumped on board and pledged, so all of the details are in the description bar. I'm very excited, and I sent my first batch of goodies out, because I send goodie bags out. There are varying levels that you can pledge at, from $1 a month right up to $100 a month, and I've got quite a lot who fell into a category that gets a box of goodies from me sent out. So yeah, I'm really happy. Anyway, right, so there we go, done. That's my stamping part done. So now we're just going to build the box. Oh, I'm only at 10 minutes. Oh gosh. faster than I realised. Okay, so we scored the base on the long side. Well, now we're coming in with the short side. This is dead easy. We're going to score it every 2 inches, every 5 centimetres. So 2, 4, 6 and 8. If you work with 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you can keep yours at 8.5 inches wide. I don't work with that because I work with International A4. But yeah, 2, 4, 6 and 8, or 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. Oh, while I've got my scoring tool out, I might as well do the lid. So the lid is 6 by 6 inches, 15 by 15 centimetres, and you simply score it at 2 inches on all 4 sides. But just bring your cardstock ever so very slightly out. So technically you're going just slightly under 2 inches or slightly under 5 centimetres. I have created shims and things, but the thickness of this cardstock is different to the thickness of the base, so I've worked that this is the easier method to do it. So 2 inches, 5 centimetres on all 4 sides. Right, okay. Let's build the box. So basically we're going to fold and burnish all the score lines I've created. And then snip away this little skinny bit at the bottom and then cut straight up those score lines. So we're going to do that now. Oh, dirty scissors. Okay. So that's the bottom of the box, the main part of the box. So we'll do the lid as well while I've got scissors and scoring and bone holders and stuff. Might as well do it all together. Okay, so on this one, cut up one of the side pieces and wedge a little bit out there and off there. So you're left with that shape. Repeat the same on the parallel side. So straight up, wedge in, wedge and chop. And that's going to fold over like that. And we're going to do the same round here as well. And the last one. Oops, removed the grid paper. There we go. Right, so let's put this part together first. So I've got, because that is quite a thin bit, I'm going to go and work with some tear and tape, which just about fits on. So that is about 1 centimetre wide, just-ish. If you're working with, if you've cut yours at 8.5 by 9, you can use fuse or what have you, but the tear and tape is great, and I can just, it has overhung ever so slightly, but I can run my finger and actually roll it back. And there we go, so that's the back of the box. So 2 sides in and the back, and some adhesive down here. I'll grab my fuse. And that is the main part of the box made. I'm delighted with that. I love it in the purple. Now, to put the lid together, I stumbled across this daft tip, which really, really works. So I need to stick these bits to there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive. So I've turned it over. And you know, in the past where we've created shims and we've worked in 1/16 of inches and 0.05 million of a centimetre. Lay your lid down, put your box inside the lid, bring up the sides. Actually, no, you don't bring up the sides, you bring up these panels and that panel and stick it to itself. and bring up the sides. And that means your lid is going to be a perfect fit, although I appear to have stuck it. What have I stuck it to? Oh, I haven't stuck it to anything. And it's now the perfect fit. Why didn't anybody start doing that a long time ago? But there you go. Box and lid. What do you think? Oh, and only 15 minutes. You know what I'm like. I like to keep my videos to about 10 to 12 minutes. I hope it was worth the few extra minutes, but I am utterly delighted with that box and how it's come out. And I really hope you are too. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.